Popular. You're gonna be popular. Hey y'all, welcome to Clove Room, and welcome to the couldn't tell you day of Clovemas. Today I am going to put on some makeup on camera, which I haven't done in a while, so I'm a little bit nervous. It's kind of a lot of birds, a lot of stones type thing. Or no, I guess a lot of birds, one stone. We just have one stone for the mini birds we're about to take out, which is kind of violent. I love birds, actually. Birds are cool, especially ducks. I love ducks. Alright, back on track. I'm going to be demoing, I think, I'm going to try to put all of my most cherished products on my face. I did that overhead video a couple of videos ago. If you missed that, I will link it. But I did say in that video that I wanted to demo those products for y'all, so I'm going to try to do that today. I also got my Ulta order in mere hours ago from Black Friday, Cyber Monday. I guess it was technically more Cyber Monday. From that shopping period. So I'm most excited to try these r.e.m shadows, the liquid shadows, and then I have like a new liquid liner and eye primer, which is more boring, quite frankly, but you know, still something. And then also third bird that we're throwing a stone at is, because it's like two birds with one stone means like you hit two birds with a stone, right? Like, I don't think the stones are helpful to the birds. A third bird we're taking out is, I've been getting a lot of compliments on my makeup lately, which is very, very sweet. So I did just want to kind of show overall kind of product agnostic, what the kind of techniques and order and what I'm doing with my makeup lately. So those are the stones and the birds. Actually, just one stone. That's the stone and those are the birds. And if you are new here, well, welcome. My name is Cam. I'm a non-binary trans femme creator. I love to talk about beauty, but from more of a conscious consumerism perspective. I also love to talk about gender identity, culture, and I like to do it all from a very trans perspective that centers the experiences of trans people. So if any of that sounds good to you, I would love to have you subscribe. I'm doing Clovemas this month, which is my version of Vlogmas, so we have a lot of videos going up right now. In these trying times, we are throwing them out there like candy. And yeah, give this video a like if you do end up enjoying it, because that is helpful to me, allegedly and practically and literally. Yeah. Alright. Can you tell I'm nervous to put makeup on my face? But we're just gonna go ahead and dive in. I haven't done really any skin prep. I did shower and I shaved last night, so like I do have more facial hair than I'd probably like, but that's fine. Also, just so happy to not have a beard anymore. I had to not shave for quite a few days because I just had laser. I'm gonna go in with the Ilia Base Face Milk. I've definitely mentioned this on my channel before. I think it was in my favorites. This is a lovely, lovely product. I don't think I'll be repurchasing though. I thought this larger bottle was going to last me a lot longer than it has, and I guess I could be more sparing with it, but I don't know. I feel like I need the amount I need. And I do just go in with my hands. They're clean, okay? But I do just use my hands for things like this. I don't like using a round. One, because cotton rounds, with how thick my stubble is, they always tear on my skin and it's a mess. And then the reusable cotton rounds, like, I will eliminate anything I have to do in my life that requires, like, cleaning or refreshing. Like, my hands are free and they're fine. They work fine for this. I may try the Rode version of this, which is significantly cheaper. Or there's a brand called Good Light, I think, that is queer and Asian owned, that sells at Ulta, and I may try theirs. I feel like I'm probably more likely to try theirs than Miss Hailey Bieber's, but we'll see. A lot of people really love Rode, which is great. Now I'm going to go in with my SPF / moisturizer / kind of primer too. This kind of does it all. This is a Live Tinted hueguard. I love this stuff. It is pretty pricey for an SPF, but I don't know, I've tried to not use it and I miss it a lot when I don't have it, so. It also just sinks right into the skin and leaves behind a really beautiful glow, and it works so well with makeup, like surprisingly well. Like definitely no pilling or anything, but I almost feel like it makes the makeup lay down a little bit more smoothly, which is lovely. Okay. I was just like, I think I forgot I was filming while I was rubbing that sunscreen in, and then I realized, and I was like, should I say something? How's the weather? It's raining where I am right now. Can't hear you, but cool. Alright. Now I usually go to eyes because I like to do my eyeshadow before my base, just in case I need to clean anything up. Before I forget, I want to do my brows. I think like theoretically I would like to do my brows last because it's easier to get like Complexion product right there, and sometimes when I don't do them last, I can see like a weird little gap or a place I didn't blend very well because I was too scared to go around my brows. But then if I don't do my brows at the beginning, I will forget, and then halfway through my day, I will be really upset because I realize I haven't had my brows done all day. So I'm going to do my brows, basically. This is the e.l.f. Brow lamination gel. And like I've said before, I don't fill in my brows anymore. Especially when they're lighter, I don't need to. And my brows are back. I did have them lightened. I like toned them up quite a few levels so they matched more of the like blonde in my hair. The like warm blonde, but now they're back to my natural color. And I miss the light ones, so I keep telling myself and y'all, actually, I keep saying, I feel like to the camera, I keep saying like I need to retone them, but then the night comes and I'm tired and I just want to lay in bed and watch YouTube. So here we are with my natural hair color and my brows. That's fine. I don't know if I would go as far as to say that's good. I do like it when you can't. I like having the shape of brows, but I like when they're lighter just because I like how it sort of softens my face. And then like I don't have to do as good of a job like laminating them because like you can't really see them as much. Eyeshadow. So I am going to try out this Urban Decay Primer Potion. So if y'all haven't seen the Urban Decay Primer Potion, that's like a new discovery. I'm going to try that out. And I saw somebody on TikTok, I think it was a celebrity makeup artist, I don't know who, but she said to not put the eye primer on with your finger because that would mess up the formula and the oils or something. And I don't know if that's real. Oh, did she also say to get some on your nose? But I blindly believe people on the internet, so sure. So I'm going to use a brush to blend it in. I needed a new eye primer because I had been going without, but like I really was noticing how heavy the eye makeup was sitting on my eye skin, and I did not like that. I really did not. Here's a dilemma. So I want to go in with a little bit of the Makeup by Mario eyeshadow palette, but we have liquid eyeshadows to try. I don't know how these would do on top of powder. Should we swatch them? So I have the shade Fembot, which I feel like is the kind of more viral, popular one. Popular. You're gonna be popular. I have seen Wicked. It did absolutely change my life, and I think a lot of us were saying during that press cycle, although not me because I was enjoying it, but a lot of people were like, what could have happened on that set? And honestly, and I saw a TikToker say this, what happened on that set was history. I think they're underreacting based on their achievement with that movie. I love that movie. I saw with a bunch of girly pops from work, and we all were in a row. We were crying. Like, All right, so this is Fembot, and then this is UFO, which I feel like I haven't heard as many people talk about this shade, but it's almost the one I'm more excited about. Although both of these are very much my vibe. I think I'm going to try to start with these and then maybe use like a matte in the crease if I need to like blend them out. So let's see how that goes. And I am going to blend these in with my finger. I don't know if the random unnamed celebrity makeup artist will be okay with that. I also don't know how these will do on top of an eye primer. This isn't like a very good test, is it? Oh, stay. Okay, that kind of got everywhere, but it's like really pretty. If I don't have a washcloth with me when I do my makeup, the sensory overload part of me will lose. It will lose. Wow, that is really, really pretty. And it does have a good amount of base pigment, but it's a lot of like silver sparkle. Should I zoom y'all in? So I'm going to do that to the other eye. Maybe I'm using too much and that's why it's like getting everywhere. Maybe I should be more careful. I say as I do the same exact thing I did on the other side. This is very, very pretty and it's very, very wet look. And very much that kind of like taupey bronze with cool toned sparkle vibe. I feel like it's a little bit more patchy on this side. maybe I didn't use as much. Yeah, I think it got a little bit patchy. I don't know how these would do over powder because I feel like almost like a little oily, like wet look and wet feel. Okay, and they also don't want to stand up on their own, which is pissing me off. Okay, that's actually better now that I've added a little to that balded spot. Yeah, I feel like the thing with liquid shadows, like matte or glitter, it's just like hard to contain them. Oh, okay. I've decided to go out of focus. But it is like beautiful. I do think it's very pretty. I am actually going to use... All of my brushes are dirty and we don't need to talk about that. I think I'll start with like this matte here and just kind of mattify the crease and maybe diffuse some of that glitter a little. I would have probably been okay. I need a deeper shade actually, so I'm going to go into this one, this middle one. I think it probably would have been okay to put them over after doing the powder eyeshadow. I think that would have been fine. I don't know though, I get nervous. I think that is helping kind of like clean it up, and because the thing is like if everything's glittery then like nothing's glittery, you know? This definitely would be good for a one and done. It just like with all the glitter it just looks like a little bit messy for me. So, and I'm not really ever a one and done person. Like with the shimmer shade. I am with like a matte shade, but like just doing like a shimmer or satin all over the lid, I always end up putting something matte on because I don't like the look, and I feel like it makes my eyes look smaller most of the time. I need like some sort of matte contoury vibe in the crease. And then I'm actually going to go in with like a lighter shade to blend out the edges a little. I feel like there's still kind of a balding spot right there. So I don't know about that, but I do really like the look of it, and I think it's very pretty. Now I want to put a little bit of fembot on like my inner arc. Is that what that's called? It's not like my inner corner. It's more like my inner like, shoo, you know? So, wow, that is very glittery. Maybe I'll try a brush to like diffuse this. Wow, that is so glittery and wet look. These are pretty pigmented, and like a good bit comes off the wand whenever you are applying them. And I just, it is kind of hard to like get them in place, I feel like. And maybe I'm just not good at it. Maybe I'm the problem. I feel like with a powder shadow, that would have been easier to place. Or it's easy to place with the liquid, but then once you touch it, I feel like it's just like, it like goes everywhere. And I feel like with a powder, the laydown can be harder to get in the exact right spot, but once it's there, it's really easy to diffuse and it won't go everywhere most of the time if it's like a good powder shadow. So that's kind of my reservation with a liquid shadow to begin with. And I don't know if these are like changing my mind, but they're very pretty. I also don't know if they like totally go together, but they're fun. I'm actually going to add a little bit of lavender lilac-y to the eye look, and I'm going to use this Valentino blush, which I'll probably later use on my face. But I'm going to use that as an eyeshadow too, since it's marketed as an eyeshadow. Although it's really like, I think any powder blush can be an eyeshadow. I feel like it's going to help make sense of fembot and also hopefully like diffuse the edges a little bit. It is just like a little bit messy for me. And maybe I did it in the wrong order. Like maybe the right order is to lay down mattes first and then put these on top and hopefully not get them everywhere. I feel like the not getting them everywhere part is really hard though. We're going to do a wing. And I'm gonna actually show y'all how I do my wings, because like I figured out a system that works really well for me. I'm gonna start with this Glisten 3 brush that's very, very tiny and very just like a thin line. And I'm actually gonna like lay down a little bit of this black shadow from the Makeup by Mario Neutral Mattes palette. And this is my sketch of the wing that I'm then going to go on top of with liquid eyeshadow. And I don't like fully draw out like all of my wing, but I just do like a really tiny little sketch of it, and it makes it a lot easier to draw with the liquid pen. And it's also very easy to take the powder off if I mess up or need to adjust something. Okay, I had thought I pressed record, but I don't think I did. So I just did my wing this wing with the Fenty black eyeliner. It went on really, really well. It works, I think, hopefully. It seems to be pretty much exactly like the brown one I already have. And like, I'm going to go in a little with the inner corner, just like that. I like to just do, like, fill this in with black. And then from here to here, when I go all across my lid, I feel like it really actually shrinks my eye a lot. So I like to leave this pretty much free. And then like with mascara, and I did off camera too, I tie lined and put a black in my waterline. With that, it makes this already look like a really thin black line, but if I add any more on top, then it like looks thicker and it just does not look... I don't like how it looks on my eye. I think I'm going to call it on that wing. I'm pretty happy. What's probably going to happen is I'm probably going to mess up on my non-dominant side, and then I'm going to have to come back and make this one bigger. And I don't know how much of that process I'll show, because who wants to see that? But I don't know. So yeah, I was so excited because I did a good job on my dominant side. So I was like, I can do the other one off camera. And then I realized I had never hit record, which was devastating. Okay. You're in a safe place. It's fine. Okay. They're like, okay. They're going to be as good as they're going to get. I may sharpen them a little bit later and add a little bit of black to the bottom lash line. I'm just going to go ahead and do mascara. I like doing mascara now instead of the end because it can be a little bit messier. And if some comes off on my face, it's fine. And this is the Ilia volumizing mascara in the black shade. And now we're going to do Complexion. So I'm going to start with this Lisa Eldridge because sometimes I go back and put a little bit more of the Ilia on, but my skin actually feels pretty nice and hydrated. I'm going to start with this Lisa Eldridge Elevated Glow. This is in the shade Crystal Nebula. It's just like her... It's like her glow shimmer goo thing. Although it is more like on the liquid highlighter realm than I feel like the Charlotte Tilbury or the Auric or something like that. It definitely can be used for this purpose, and that's what I like to use it for. It's very, very wet look. Like, I would say it's the thinnest and most wet look one of these I've tried. But if I was doing a project pan right now, I would be trying to pan this because I'm like halfway through. And like I've said before, it's not like my favorite thing ever, but I like it enough. And I would like to use it up. It was actually a gift from my mom when she went to England. And it doesn't add like really much coverage. It just adds a lot of glow. Most of the other things I'm going to be going in when it comes to complexion are going to be more on the matte, natural matte side. So I like to have this under. It's very, very like glowy base. And then I kind of like set it down as I go. It's very ethereal, very wet look. Now, I'm going to go in with this NYX color corrector. Probably my favorite product of the year. And I use a good bit of this under my eyes. Not like a ton, but a good bit. It is pretty pigmented. Cancel out some of the blue. And then I will go around all of this. And you're going to see why I probably want or will buy a backup of this eventually. Because I run through it and I use quite a bit. Especially when I'm going more glam. If this was more day-to-day, I wouldn't use nearly as much on my beard area. But I know I'm going to go over it with something that is more matte and has like a good bit of coverage. And I hope you can see how this instantly just gets rid of the look of my stubble, of the darkness. And yeah, right now it like looks more like it's just like highlighting it. But when I put product over it, it really does camouflage it so well. But it doesn't look like there's a bunch of heavy product on my face at all. Then I'm just going to use my finger. Like, so you could buy this. Use Clove Room for 20% off a finger. I'm just going to tap the corrector under my eye with my finger. Another thing I love about this is that like I can just use a little bit of it under my eye on very light coverage days. Like just a little bit of this color corrector with my Glossier Skin Tint works beautifully. It's like the best product ever. I love this. I love this concealer, and I'm interested eventually to try the Complexion shades in the line that are not correctors, just because I really think this is a special formula, and I'm like pretty close to being done with mine because I use a lot of it every day. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in with my Ilia complexion stick. Another thing about the Lisa Eldridge is that Crystal Nebula is like especially if I put a lot of it on, is kind of dark for me. But both the corrector and this Ilia stick are lighter and more pink than my skin is, so it ends up balancing out. I'm not obsessed with having like a perfect match with my complexion products, because I also think by the time I put like bronzer, blush, highlighter on there, everything kind of like adds up and is okay. What I like to do with this stick lately is you can just swipe it on and it looks fine that way, but I like to grab a little with my brush and then buff that into the areas where I want more coverage. So I'm going to go over where I put the corrector, and I'm pretty much going to go everywhere. I'm going to leave this cheek space a little bit bare just so some of that glow will still come through, and because I don't need to highlight that part or lighten it because I will be putting bronzer there. And yeah, this Ilia complexion stick is just beautiful, soft matte, not drying at all, but not too glowy. Lasts a really great time. It blurs. It's stunning. Maybe the only, and I don't think this is a drawback for me, but I think a lot of people judge stick products based on how well they like glide onto the skin. This really doesn't glide. It like will like kind of not tug, but it isn't as silky, kind of creamy glidey as like the Merit stick or something like that. But again, I feel like that kind of like waxiness to it helps it last longer and look better on my skin. So I do not mind that. And it's just very, very perfecting. And I will just use this as an under eye concealer too. It does really well under the eyes. It's interesting because my preference with under eye really used to be like more glowy, dewy, hydrated. And now I actually just prefer something like this that's like matte. Even if I'm going like really glowy on the rest of the skin, I prefer my under eye being more mattified, which did not used to be the case, but I guess preferences change, you know. Since we are on camera and I probably need some more depth, I am going to use the Salt New York contour shade in taupe. I can still kind of get it really in the sides of this, and I probably need to repress it or something, but it's so annoying to do that. And then I feel like it's kind of annoying to use that way too. And yeah, I definitely got some on my brush, so I feel like we're good. I love this contour, by the way. Salt New York blushes, I think I've decided aren't really my preferences. I don't have any anymore. They're just like a little too dewy, and I've actually, I don't want like matte, but like too dewy of blushes I just don't like these days. This is probably my favorite contour shade I've ever tried. I do have a bit of like warmer undertones, so when I use something like too cool, like I feel like even Westman Atelier Biscuit is like, it just doesn't look, and I know it's like supposed to be contour, it's supposed to be a shadow, but like it just, I really don't think it looks very good on my skin. I have Ritual Defy Intuition, but I think that looks terrible on me. Like I cannot get that to look good at all. Just not my thing. Now I'm going to start using powder products. I'm going to go in with my Q2 bronzer in 01, and I am just going to blend this on the upper part of my cheek. Now for blush, I like to use a much smaller brush. This is the Rephr 18, and I'm going to go in to my beloved Valentino blush. It just says 3 on the back of here, so I think that's part of the shade name. So I'm going to pick that up and then just start pressing it here. I've been trying to keep my blush more in this area than like, because I feel like this just kind of looks like soft and girly right here and almost like where the under eye is. And I also usually overdo it with the blush because I am going to powder most of my face after this, and after I do that, the blush, I usually end up adding even more blush, so I kind of just haphazardly go into these areas. And then when I powder, it'll look a little bit cleaner. That blush is girly pop. I'm going to use my little e.l.f. powder puff. I'm going to go in with my e.l.f. Halo Glow powder. I just grab a little from the cap, and then into my palm, I just like rub it in to the powder puff, and then start pressing this. I always like to make sure this area is set, since I have so much product there with like the color corrector and then the Ilia stick. And then I'll like kind of go up more around these areas. Grab a little bit more. I don't think I'm going to bake under my eyes today, but I do just want to like mattify everything a lot because it's looking very, very dewy. Which I like, and I like that it still has that like ethereal glow from within look beneath of it, and that's like the Lisa Eldridge coming through. I also like it to feel like it's going to last and not dissolve really quickly. And the nice thing about the Halo Glow powder too, it reminds me a lot of the Louder from Glossier, which is my favorite powder of all time. It sets everything and gives it like this soft glow still and lets glow come through. And it looks pretty traceless on the skin. Like, I can't really see that I put a bunch of powder on. It's very, very nice. So that's how we're looking. I know. I'm going to add r.e.m. Miss Mercury. I like to use a larger brush with powder highlighters. I learned this from Lauren May Beauty because she uses a large fan brush with a lot of her highlighters and gets like a more diffuse look. I feel like when I use something... Like, this is more of a traditional sized highlighter brush, but I feel like when I use this, it just looks like I drew a line on my face. And when I use this, it looks like I bathed in a gorgeous shower of glimmer. And it diffused softly throughout my feminine skin and features. This looks like I just, like, drew something, and I don't like it as much. So that's why I like to use a larger brush. This is the Rougher 05. I think it's advertised to be for, like, blush and bronzer, but I like to use it for highlighter. And then I'll just go all over, center of my face, along my forehead, with whatever is left. Beautiful. All right, and now I'm going to go in with my Hourglass palette. This is the Jellyfish one from last year. And I'm going to start with this lighter finishing powder. And I'm using this small little Moda Highlight and Glow brush. I like to grab a good bit, and then I really like just press that under the eye and around my nose. That's going to help blur everything even more and perfect things even more. Truly like a filter for your face. These powders are so great. And then I actually like to use the deeper one in this palette, the one that's like more similar to my skin tone. I like to use that to just like clean up like all like the contour and bronzer that kind of got all over the place. I just like clean that up and also set this area of my cheeks with that. And another great thing too, I don't feel like I need it today because I like the way everything's looking, but if like your cheeks ever look really muddy, you can just like get either like honestly a powder puff or like a large brush, like swirl into a couple of these powders and just like buff your cheeks out, and it'll like perfect and blur them and make it look less messy. Muddy is the word I was using. All right, I want to finish up the eyes. I'm going to take this Moda liner brush into the black from the Makeup by Mario and line my under eye just a tad, because I feel like that makes the wings look a little bit more even and just like adds even more depth to my eyes. And then with this teensy tiny Real Techniques shading brush, I think it's called, I'm just gonna take, actually I'm gonna use a little bit of the Valentino blush under my eyes. And then I think I'm gonna use one of the lighter taupes in the Makeup by Mario to neutralize that just a little bit and blend it out. And then also use... See, this is why I love this Makeup by Mario palette, because even when it's like not the star of the eye look, I'm always like cleaning up things. I'm always like finishing things with these matte shades. They're just so great for utilitarian stuff like this. And I'm going to use just a little bit of Phytosurgence Lunar Lightwave, since this was a part of that video too. I have like plenty of glitter, but I'm just going to take a little bit of this on my brow bone, which I like to do with this sometimes, just to add even more glitter. And I did have some Aquaphor on my lips, so I'm just going to wipe that off and whatever Complexion makeup got on my lips. I haven't used this Glossier lip liner in a bit, so I'm going to use that. This is in the shade Buff. Somehow the glitter from Fembot got all the way to my lips. It might be because it's all over my hands, but still, wow. I feel like that probably looks bad, but that's okay. We just have to move on. And then I'm going to put on one of my Milani matte fetish lipsticks. This is the one in the shade Tease, which is that lighter caramely nude. And I'm going to blend this in with the lip liner, hopefully. Okay, I honestly think that lip liner looks terrible, and I'm having a lot of trouble making it not look terrible. So we're all just going to ignore that, and I did add a little bit of Fembot to my lips just because I thought it would be fun. Yeah, that like formula, the Glossier one, I do not like as much as I thought I did. And also, if you are going to have me sharpen a pencil, it needs to be wood. Like this whole we're going to sharpen plastic thing, it has to end at some point. It has to end. And this is like a new release. So I don't know why. I don't know why they have to do it like that. I really wish they would have just, if they were going to do a sharpenable pencil, just do it as wood. And it's easier for everyone. Okay, that is the look. I will zoom you in for a celebration of trans beauty. That lip liner is ruining it for me, I'm not gonna lie, but it's okay. Here's the thing about like doing my makeup on camera. I feel like it never goes as well as when I do it in real life, you know? So I do it and I'm like, I swear I'm gonna make up y'all. I promise. I hope y'all did enjoy this video. If you did like it, go ahead and give this video a like. It helps me in the wild, wild west of YouTube algorithm. Subscribe if you want to see future uploads. I have a lot of content coming for Clovemas. I think it's gonna be really fun. And thank y'all so much for being here. We are gonna be okay. Bye, y'all.